Guys, I was going to take this, figured I'd put it on video while I'm taking it out of the box, because I know people like to see that apparently on YouTube. So this is, I paid, let me check the exact price. It's somewhere between $100 and $150 for this Dell used computer with an i7 and 16 gigabytes of RAM. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. Okay, $150 shipped. Alright. You know, the last time I checked, I could be wrong now because I know the prices are going down, but the last time I checked, you couldn't even get 16 gigabytes of RAM by itself for $115, let alone with an i7, even though it's an old, maybe one of the lower i7s from, you know, over 10 years ago, it's still an i7. It's still 16 gigabytes of RAM. For $150 bucks? I mean, that's crazy. That's what my original, I can't see it, the web server. Oh my god, my apartment is so disgusting. I'm so sorry. Anyway. The web server is a Core 2 Duo. Still running great. Very cheap used computer. The only downside of these used Dells is that the power supplies are kind of proprietary. So you can't just plug in a graphics card and have a good gaming system. You have to like either cut up the power supply wires and put on a different end, or just most people just buy a new power supply because they're cheap these days. Like I got the one in my cardboard computer over here. That's a Seasonic 500, I forget, 600 watt maybe. I got it for like $30 used online. And Seasonic, they make the best quality power supplies there are, in my opinion. So, and they're, I think, kind of American. I think they're assembled in China or somewhere, and the company's headquarters in America, if I'm not mistaken. So it's nice to support. Whatever. So here's the computer. It looks very clean. Is my first thing that I notice. There's like no dust. Look, there's no dust on here. It looks like it was either extremely well cleaned or not really used very much. This could be like a fresh, old stock. Because what happened, the way I found out about these originally was a post on, I believe it was the Hot Deals section of hardocp.com, or the Hard Forum. And there was a time, about 3 years ago, when big companies were upgrading all the computers in their offices, and so the market just got flooded with all these business desktops that were actually pretty good. And most of the fastest i7s, like the 3.4 gigahertz, I think is or 3.6, I forget what the faster one is from that time. Most of the faster i7s and the higher RAM capacity, the higher RAM ones, got bought very quickly, but if you keep your eye out on eBay, once in a while another one will pop up. You can get like the 4 and 8 gigabyte ones all day long, but I kept my eye out and I checked every day for a couple weeks, and then this 16 gigabyte popped up. So man, oh, look at this hard drive. I don't even have to put a hard drive in it. Sweet. So all I have is one extra SSD, and I wanted to use that for a new experiment on my main desktop to put Windows 10 on and see how that runs versus Windows 7 with my setup. So, look at this thing. Look at this fan. There's dust on this blade, and on this blade, and none of the other blades. Like, there's like no dust in here. I think this is like fresh, old stock. This was a good deal. Look at that, $150. 16 gigabytes of RAM, i7, as long as it boots and it didn't get damaged in shipping, because like the nice thing for these, in my opinion, is like for servers. Like if you want to run a dedicated gaming server or web server, file server, whatever, because like Natural Selection 2 is kind of a demanding for servers to run. So I would take this, ideally with a K series, and overclock it, but for now, just take this with an i7, and the 16 gigs of RAM, I bet that'd make a pretty decent NS2 server. Especially for $150, I mean, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that. That dust came out of the CPU heatsink, but the board itself and all the components, there's no dust on them. That's crazy. Like, this computer looks like it was never used. Looks like they used this computer for like a week. This computer looks like it has like a week of use on it. That's crazy. Man, look at that. So we got a hard drive here. Man, eBay, if you're smart and you know what you're looking for and how to tell when things look good or not, man, you can get some deals on eBay. And a funny story, I've actually gotten, like, sometimes you, like, get a really good deal on eBay and you receive it and it was listed as used, but then it's, like, brand new with all the plastic and everything on it, and you're like, oh, that was probably stolen and sold on eBay as used. That's why it's so cheap. So that happens once in a while, which is kind of funny. Anyway, looks like we got two USB 3.0 expansion card in the back. We've got VGA, and look at that RS-232. That's kind of ridiculous. Like, if you want to control some serial stuff from 30 years ago, I guess you can. Even though most people would use a dongle. Adapter probably from USB. That's cool though. Direct hardware. Display port. A bunch of more USB ports. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even though they're probably all 2.0. And then we still have the keyboard and mouse dedicated plugs, which I always like because, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the mouse port on here actually has a faster polling frequency than USB. And similarly with the keyboard, N-key rollover gaming keyboards that can take as many key presses as you can press at the same time and still process them. That only works usually through the... my gaming keyboard there came with an adapter to go from USB to PS2 printer port, and it needs that for the N-key rollover. So yeah, and also these are direct hardware, like an old CRT. Has the fastest. There is no response time essentially because it's directly hardware instruction to display on the screen. There's no processing. With USB, there's digital processing, even if it's only a millisecond, which you could never tell from your human perceptions. If you can get rid of that millisecond, why not, right? So, the option's there. And the other thing that's nice about it is booting up. Sometimes, pressing the delete key or whatever to get into the BIOS. Sometimes it works better with these than the USB, in my experience. So, we've got a DVD RW drive. Not much dust in the power supply. Again, signs of very low use. I'm very happy about that. This isn't going to be mine. This is actually for my uncle. We just got out of the hospital, and all he ever uses is MS Paint and YouTube. This is so overkill for him, but, it was like $20 more than the one with 8 gigabytes of RAM, so, So let's see what we have here for the power supply. DC output, max output power 250 watts. So you'd have to use a pretty efficient video card if you wanted to tap off there. Like I said, most people replace the power supply or just get a second one if they're actually going to put a video card in these systems. It's still a good deal that way. What do we have here? One extra SATA port wire that's already plugged in, so I wonder if they removed something before they sold it. And then we have two, are those AGP or PCI Express? They kind of look like slot 1, slot 4. Kind of look like AGP and PCI. Yeah, oh, this is old. But, it's still a great server for the money, but this is old technology you can see here because we don't even have PCI Express. We have a standard PCI slot and 2 AGP slots. So, if you want to use this for gaming, you need to get an AGP video card. It's kind of funny, but like I said, I get these for their server per. This is a great server for the money. File server, gaming server. You don't need a video card for that, It's perfectly set up for that. So yeah, that's about it. I guess I'm just going to make sure it turns on. It sucked if it didn't turn on. from shipping or something, but I'll just show you what we have here. We have one intake fan in the front of the hard drive. Power supply has one exhaust fan that's pulling in from the case and out the back, and then we've got the CPU heatsink, and looks like all we got for fans. So yeah, just make sure it boots up. Right. Moment of truth. Whoa. Mechanical hard drive. I haven't heard those in. What was that? The DVD drive? Oh, look at all these lights. 0, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, there it is. Boots. So, it works. So that's pretty sweet. Media failure. Yeah, it's because the hard drive is formatted. Sweet. Well, I'm just going to install, I guess what I'm going to install is Windows 10 Extra Long Service Branch or whatever, long-term service branch, because that's the best version that I've found. And I'll probably just install the Windows Update Blocker version 1.1, and either that or Windows 10 Minimal Edition, and the Windows Update Blocker. That combination is really nice. My cardboard PC right here boots to desktop in about 10 seconds. Let me show you how awesome this installation is of Windows 10 Minimal and the Windows Update Blocker. I think it's the fastest computer I've ever had boot to desktop. Actually, I don't remember back in the old, with my 3000 plus that I had overclocked, that thing booted pretty quick to desktop. But that was so many years ago. I don't know anymore. Okay. Let's see, keyboard, power. Alright, where's my... It's going to boot onto the... I can't balance this. It's going to boot onto the TV. One 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10. Oh, the video thing's not plugged in. Oh no. Alright, let's do that again. Nice to have an actual stopwatch, but okay. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 17 seconds. I swear it's faster sometimes. Sometimes it just like pops right up. I feel like especially when it's totally cold and hasn't been started all day. Seems like it starts the fastest then. Let's see, it says 4:23 on the camera. 36, 434 it started at. Yep, 17 seconds to desktop. I mean, it's pretty quick. Forgot why we were even talking about this in the first place, but let me show you my glorious cardboard computer. That slot there is for starting it. That's where the pins are. See down in there, down there. Welcome to the worst camera work of any YouTube channel ever made. That's a heat extractor on the top, in that vent. Right there. The video card is blowing up out of here. It sucks air in from the side here, and it blows it out the top. And I've got this to add stability, and one on the other side here. This has enough strength to it. This is just, and then I've got power supply in the back, and some vents that air is blowing out of. So I need to make a new version. There's still a few things left to improve on, like the power supply cord coming out of the same side as the other cords, so I can put it all the way up against the wall. And that's really the main thing that I don't like about it. But in terms of functionality, quietness, and coolness, like it doesn't overheat, it doesn't get too loud. My first few designs did get hot and get loud, so this is the first design that didn't. So it basically works good enough for me at this point. Yeah, that was my $20 Ryzen build. So I just used the box the power supply came in, and just had some fun with the hot glue because I was able to cut it, and this needs to be glued back on. That was originally for support before this was joined at the top, but it's plenty strong now. I can actually get rid of that. But yeah, it's fun to be able to cut it and change it and revise it and have a few different versions. So, and it's nice to actually treat cardboard like it's not just trash, like, you know, actually put some care into constructing something nice with it. It's actually kind of a nice material. You know, it's light, it's insulating, it doesn't sound, it's very cheap and free, you know. You could finish it with some paint or something, and so it didn't even look like cardboard, but it's nice to actually care about it for a change, you know. It's kind of funny to do that. And the idea is when I have the final design that I like, I'll make it out of wood, and it'll be really nice. So, see you guys later.